Zach, not long now until Sunday's big meeting. I imagine this is one of your favourite weeks of the year.
Yeah, it is. I think it's our marquee meeting of the year. It's the one where we have the most visitors in town, whether that's jockeys, trainers, owners, media, friends, family, fans. There's a lot of people here, so there's a buzz. It's just good to be part of it again.
And you get to take on the all-comers on your home patch. Is there an extra buzz for you regarding that?
Well, we need to defend our home turf. That's very important, and we always try and do that. So every year I try and find a horse or some horses that can be competitive in these races, and fortunately for me, I've had a lot of luck in them, and it's just a matter of getting on the right horse on the right year. And we're on the A course, which is a pretty fair track, and the weather's good again this week, so the track should race and ride well, and every horse should get their chance.
And just on the locals, the last few years they've done really well.
We seem to do well every year, even when we come into it with the horses that aren't the highest rated, because it's in our backyard and we don't have to travel. They seem to find that extra little bit on the day when it matters, and we struggle a little bit in the Vars. We've only won that twice in the last 25 years, and I've been on both of those horses, but we don't really buy horses to run that distance. We focus more on sprinter milers and horses that can get to the 2,000 metres for the Derby as well, but they're often 4-year-olds at the time that we're pushing to run 2,000 metres but end up milers, which is what's happened out of the Derby this year. But we're usually strong in the sprint and the mile races.
And on HKIR Rising, a name that's on everybody's lips as far as Sunday goes and where he could potentially be. Have you ever seen a horse so quickly rise to prominence?
No, I haven't, and it's quite unique that he's the horse that everyone's talking about this week with, Romantic Warrior and Liberty Island and Stellenbosch, and there's a heap of horses without a fight, and Tino. All those horses are here, but everyone's talking about HKIR Rising, a horse that hasn't won a Group 1 race yet. So he's caught everyone's imagination. They've got his attention. He's been doing some great things, and now he gets his chance to do it in the big race on the big day.
And what is it about him that makes him so special?
He's fast. That certainly helps. But he's just continued to develop and mature with every start, and he's just got better and better. And his last 2 starts, he's taken a really big step. And to put a performance like he did up 2 starts ago is pretty good, pretty special when he was just outside the track record, and then to back it up the next start and break the track record. For horses to put 2 runs back to back like that together, it tells you how good they are. And he's bouncing. I've been on him in track work this week. I'm very happy with him, and we're all excited for the weekend.
And the mile is a race you have won 4 times already in the past. How do you assess Beauty Eternal's chances there on Sunday?
He's been really disappointing this season. He obviously won the Champions Mile, beating Golden 60 at the end of last season. But he's come back this season. He's had 2 runs, and he's been his own worst enemy. He's pulled himself into the ground. He's sweating a lot before the races. He's getting on edge. He's just not in the frame of mind that we need him to be in, and it's always been his Achilles heel, his eagerness and enthusiasm to get on with things, but he's just pulling himself into the ground, and you can't compete at this level doing what he's been doing. So he gets some earplugs on and a Norton bit, so hopefully those additions to his gear help him, and if he can relax, maybe he can run better. But on what he's been doing, it's going to be hard to see him turning that around and putting a victory on the board. But it is a horse race, and sometimes they can surprise us.
Brenton, you rode at this meeting 12 months ago. Just explain what it's like riding at it.
Yeah, it's a big day. You got horses obviously all over the world, and this year to be representing Hong Kong is obviously a big thrill too. So now I'm a fully contracted rider here entrenched in Hong Kong. It's pretty special, and to have a ride in all the main races, it's a big thrill.
And your book there on Sunday, it's really strong, particularly across the Group 1s there. So starting in the Vars, the 2,400 metres, you've got 5G Patch.
Yeah, he's a really tough, honest horse. If anything, there's not enough races for him here in Hong Kong, being that 2,400 metre plus. But he ran well behind Rebel's Romance at this distance when I rode him last time at the trip. If he can bring that sort of form, well, he's going to race well. So I've been happy with his runs back. He's closing off, and like I said, I think getting back to the 1.5 miles is really going to suit him.
And what do you make of the chances of Straight Aaron? He ran really well at this meeting 12 months ago.
Yeah, look, Ricky's had a couple runs with him now. I was really happy with him first up, wasn't beaten far. he was okay the other day. His work's been good since. I think he's peaking on the right day, and like you said, if he can bring that form from last year, obviously Romantic Warrior is going to be hard to beat again, but if he can bring that form, he's going to race well.
Are there any chinks in the likes of Romantic Warrior?
I haven't seen him yet. So look, he's obviously a horse that's won multiple Group 1s all over the world, and he's one of Hong Kong's best for sure.
Beauty Joy, your ride there in the mile, and he's a horse that you've ridden with success in the past.
Yeah, he knocked off Beauty Eternal, who's a Group 1 winner, so he's never won at the top level, but he's always raced well at sort of that grade below, and he's always raced well at Group 1 level, so he's a tough horse. He always tries hard. He just needs a bit to go his way. He needs to switch off and have a bit of tempo in his races, and if he gets that, then he can always close off hard. Another
horse that you've had a bit to do with is California Spangle. Is that important to have that association with all of these horses ahead of such a big meeting?
It does help, but yeah, I think Spangle's done more for me than any other horse here in Hong Kong so far. Obviously, to represent Hong Kong in Dubai and win the Alcohol was special, and to have the Group 1 here on him too. So he's a pretty special horse to link up with, in the first 18 months of my life in Hong Kong, and looking forward to getting back on him. Obviously, HKIR Rising is going to be very hard to beat. Speaking of chinks in arms, I haven't seen one in his yet, so he's a world-class sprinter, and he's obviously going to be the one we have to beat, but he's got to do it on grand final day, and like I said, my horse should be peaking on the day as well.
Any other rides you're looking forward to across the card?
Yeah, I've got a pretty competitive undercard. California Totality can run well in the Class 318. Invincible Lucky for Mark will run really well in the Class 412, but they've both drawn awkward. And Beauty Crescent's not far away. Never won a race in Hong Kong, but I think he's at about 8 seconds, so he's knocking on the door to win one.
Yep, well, I know you'll be cheered here by the locals, but don't forget the Australians as well. I'm sure they'll be cheering you on too on Sunday.
Cheers, Brad.